with Mohanji's blessings. May we all grow together, walk together on this path of Raja Yoga, holding each other's hand, sharing, caring, and building this beautiful Mohanji family. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. Jai Mohanji. So, welcome everyone. And today we thought we will bring in one beautiful person who's been connected with Mohanji since 2016. And she will share with us her experience of being with Mohanji. She's been with Mohanji since 2016. She's been his PA and she inspires all of us with her writing. She's got a book in her name. It's sharing all the experiences with Mohanji. So she was very happy to come forward today and read one small testimonial from her work and also share some experiences, which can be the platform from which we can all start talking to each other and sharing. So, welcome, Karina from Serbia. She's all excited with Mohanji arriving there tomorrow. Karina, warm welcome to you and over to you.
Thank you so much, Reka. Thank you for having me, and thank you to everybody for being here. Yes, we were very happy to be receiving Mohanji tomorrow. I spoke to Reka about what we were going to speak about today, but I think I will read one short testimonial. But before that, I just want to say, because ever since we've created this group, Mohanji Clear and Simple, which you can join, we can share the link here. We share all the most commonly asked questions about Mohanji, some of his ways of functioning, some of his even personal decisions. Why does he function like that? Or why does he do some particular things? Or why does he talk like this or walk like this, or whatever we may cross our minds? And of course, for so many things, we do not have an answer. But for so many things, yes, we fortunately have at least a little bit of clarity. So Mohanji's life as generally is a very fascinating life. And I can say that spending time with him personally has brought me a lot of clarity about the way he functions and the way he's given an example how we should also function. And interestingly enough, he said that in the weekly talks recently that when an avatar comes, it's like everybody should behave like an avatar. So it's interesting because from what he's doing, we can learn so much. And I've met many people who think that Mohanji is all the time into spirituality, and that people who travel with him or serve him, we think that we talk, the people who are close to him talk so frequently with him about spirituality, or get that spiritual side of him, which is usually not true. And it's mostly the practical side which he's teaching us, while on the other side, of course, he is giving clarity on spirituality as well. But it's interesting that the way he's teaching us, it's like a very effective life, which how he's living it, plus connecting spiritually. So this combination is a deadly combination, and it's a very interesting combination as well. So from that point, I wanted to read a short experience which inspired me a few days ago, when some questions came about how what benefits do people have while being with Mohanji. So he usually doesn't really sit with the people who move with him and teach them something. He never sits and teaches people anything. It's more the way he functions that people who spend a little time with him kind of catch that. So once you go away from him, you spend some time with him and you go away, back home or wherever, it's that attitude that gets installed in you, like almost like installing an app on your phone or like an operating system on your phone. It used to be one, and then suddenly after spending time with him it's different, because you start picking up, not like imitating him, but you start picking up how you start understanding that the way he functions is actually the most effective way, which is usually very simple. It's based on very, very simple principles, such as one of the first things, or like most common things that people notice in Mohanji, is no emotions. Like, for example, wherever we have problems in relationships, I think that's the most common thing that happens to all of us. Interpersonal relationships, things that happen between people, because so many times our opinions are not matching with another person, or our even likes and dislikes. Like, so many times we kind of are not matching. So the way he deals with that is a very powerful way. um, so that's one of the experiences that I wrote, and that Reka mentioned to me today and suggested that we talk about that. So it is about how to handle relationships when they're a little bit edgy, because when the relationships are like smooth, we don't have to really do anything about that. But we often have, like Mohanji says, sharp edges between us and some other person. And that is felt like, either, I mean, we can analyze it for the next 5 years. Why? Like, why it can be because of some karmic impression, or it can be just that our frequency is not matching. But usually when we move with Mohanji very closely, we just learn to drop the why and just do what's practical, like what can we do about it. So after spending time with Mohanji, this is the first lesson that I've learned: never ask why. Because even if you do ask why and you start seeking the answer, it always brings you to confusion. Whether you don't get the answer, you're confused, or whether you do get an answer, it also makes you confused. So either way, the why is usually very, like, not a good question. I don't want to say that in some circumstances, of course, we should ask why, like for contemplation purposes, maybe like when we're contemplating inside. But the way Mohanji functions, and he never asks why, he just kind of flows. And you can see that in his ways of operation. Like, somebody visits him, because I've seen so many people come to him, and I've been a witness to so many different conversations that he had with people. Either it's work related or it's people's personal problems. He always looks at the person and thinks, how can I deliver? So what can I give to this person? And he never asks why. Like, if he sits down and asks why, and then he would end up like, oh, it's a past life, or oh, it's something else. So this is a complete waste of time. So in Mohanji's world, why is not in the dictionary. It's just the question is only, what can I do? Or what more can I do? So whenever somebody comes in front of him, he focuses only on that, and he focuses 100% of his attention on that person. He's never distracted. Like, maybe he, like you, yeah. So he's never distracted, and that's the beautiful thing about Mohanji, because whether the person is like volunteering for the benefit of the world or not, whether their life is predominantly selfless or predominantly selfish, he doesn't look at that either. So he doesn't categorize in any way, only giving. So anyway, coming to my experience, the interesting experience that I had is when I these were the early years with Mohanji, probably around 9 years ago. So we were moving with him to a particular location, and there was a person there who like, there was a mismatch of frequency between me and that person, and I could feel it, but I didn't really know what to do about it. So I just kind of kept flowing, and we had no choice. And sometimes Mohanji really puts us in those, or life and Mohanji also, they put us in a situation where you cannot escape. So you have to face the situation. Like usually when we don't like somebody or there's a mismatch in frequency, we tend to just escape, or we fight. I don't know, but sometimes in the path of Mohanji, Raja Yoga path, sometimes you cannot escape things. So you have to face them. And that's a good thing, because when we escape and we leave, it's actually just postponement. So it just prolongs and it can just get extended to and endlessly. So this was a big challenge for me at that time, because I didn't know how to handle that situation. But he gave me a very simple and effective solution, that to smoothen out the relationship with that person, I only have to serve them. And usually, we as human beings, some people would be very like angry because when somebody tells you to serve somebody who you're not really matching with, it can provoke like restlessness, or you just want to say no. I don't want to do that. But knowing that Mohanji says everything with a purpose, and having experienced that already, sometimes his advices are also not so comfortable to hear sometimes, because we want to stay in that pattern, or we want to stay in that comfort zone. So we don't always want to do what he says because of our pattern, and we kind of want to stay in that bubble. But many times it's sometimes painful to do what he's telling us to do, or whether it's in the weekly talks also, whatever he's saying in the weekly talks, it's sometimes very painful to do those things. But when we do them, it's like, the pain is very temporary. You just have to break that bubble, and once the bubble is broken, you just experience huge freedom. So that was the case with this particular situation I had. And and he told me to serve the person. So it was a big challenge, bit challenging. Because I definitely decided I will listen to his advice and I will do it. But many challenges came in between. It was not so easy, because first of all, the person was not hungry. The person didn't need anything. Like, I didn't even know what to do for that person, because I thought, okay, let me cook for that person. And of course, I was not doing that only because Mohanji said so. It's not like, just because Mohanji says something and we're then the rest of the things we're faking. No, I sincerely wanted to smoothen out that relationship, because it's for our benefit. It's Mohanji doesn't benefit at all, but we will definitely be more free inside. So yeah, it was a bit challenging, because I had to like find ways, and sometimes it's not easy um, to kind of to smoothen out whatever is sharp and edgy. But end of the day, I kind of did my best, and really in the end, with his grace, it turned out to be okay, and the person was at the end of the day hungry, and I could give them something and serve them something, which really really gave me a big lesson. And that itself just made me feel very, first of all, it made me feel very liberated inside, free and calm. And it was definitely not comfortable and easy, but it was definitely worth it. So this is another reminder, just to in the weekly talks, some like golden bits, or diamonds that he says in the weekly talks, he kind of packs it in the regular, like he talks regular things, and then he here and there puts a few diamonds, which you just, if you carefully listen to the weekly talks, you catch those diamonds, and you always catch this next step, like because if 500 people are joining the weekly talks, he will definitely give something to all the 500, some next step, or some advice, or answer to their question. So it's just important to listen carefully, and do what you feel he's guiding you to do, whatever he's saying in the weekly talks. So this was the topic. I didn't want to read the experience, because it's kind of long, and maybe it wouldn't make sense to you, because it's for written purposes. But you can definitely join the group and read more such stories, because I'm not only publishing my stories, I'm also publishing the stories of all the people who have spent some time with Mohanji. So So yeah, this was just a starting story. So Reka, I think, wanted us to continue talking about any similar or like different experiences that we had with Mohanji, what he taught us, how it transformed us. So yeah, I think if everybody else wants to share something, this was my part. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Karina. Thank you so much. Because, this sharp edges is something, when you started on that, I could see some many people nodding their head in the group. So I'm going to go into the gallery view to see everybody. And yeah, so it is something we always come across, right? It could be at the workplace, it could be anywhere, one sharp edge, and ouch, it really hurts. Really, really hurts. So thank you, Karina, because what Mohanji does and what you said, it makes so much sense to me. For me, that's my takeaway. How to smoothen the sharp edges. And secondly, of course, Mohanji said it. It's because you want to change from inside. That was my biggest takeaway from your sharing. Actually, now, it was so beautiful. And very cutely, you went ahead and then just said this person and way to the heart, to the stomach. So that was something I was thinking about. So now open to everybody. Thank you, Karina, for the beautiful sharing. Who else
Yeah,
would like to speak about this, relationships and things? I'm sure all of us have come across this. Yeah? Yes, Seema, please go ahead. I'll spotlight you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Karina. Actually, brought up a very beautiful point. I remember one such experience that I had. This was in the initial days. I had not met Mohanji, but I had just started connecting with him. This is 2019. And at that point, Melissa used to visit Dubai quite a bit. So she had asked us to, host a place, find a place where we could do POP. That was the first session she was hosting in Dubai, and we had about 25 people attending that session. So it was held in my community hall only. So I was arranging everything. And just before that session, this was in October 2019. I had a very bad episode with one of a good relative, and the edges had become too sharp. So there were some, some memories which used to kind of cause. I would get frightened. There would be times when I was just get up in the night, worried what will happen. A lot of anxiety, insecurity about family, relations, what people will think, things going down the drain. They would go ugly. So many things they start rolling in, right? So I was going through that anxiety attack, and there were times when in the night I would just sit up frightened, not knowing what to do, and cold feet, all these symptoms I was going through. And I was sincerely praying. At that time, I didn't know about Mohanji. I was sincerely praying that please give me some help. I don't know how to come out of this situation because I can't speak it out to anybody in the family members because then you will get a judgmental advice. Maybe you should do this, maybe you should not do this. It was not a neutral advice that I would get. I knew that. So I was really looking out for help and I didn't mention anything. I just went into the flow and everybody kept telling me that POP is very releasing. It kind of very healing. You should express yourself, go free and all. So only prayer that I went into that POP session was to free me out of this. And that POP session was phenomenal. I can't forget that even now. As and now, whenever I think about it, I have gooseflesh about that experience that I have. And believe me, after the session or during the session also, I cried quite a bit. I don't know what was pouring out of me. Something just poured. I just cried for very long in that POP session. And after the session, uh, I was very light. Not that I got clarity, but through me, things started lightening up. Meaning, whenever I met that person, I didn't carry that bitterness or that fear. So I, like Monji says, no, what more can I do? So I got into that mode. I don't know whether I was intentionally doing, I don't remember all of it, but I never thought in a calculated way that I would do this, this, this. But I got opportunities in life where I could do something for the person. And I just happened to be in the situation and probably it was his grace that I took it up as a challenge to overcome my own fear and also help the person. So over a period of a year I saw that I was completely out of that state I was in. And it's been like 5 6 years now and it's like kind of it's just a memory. It doesn't cause any kind of emotion in me right now is just a memory. So it was just that one session of POP brought a huge change.
Wow.
I just want to share that it is his presence without his presence is like that. It's so beautiful, and it's so connected well with this sharpness of two edges. So I just wanted to share that. It just brought in that memory afresh.
Wow, beautiful, right? And see how
Yes,
those edges are softened so
correct.
beautifully. And you don't even have to, meet him in person. Karina's example was being with him in person and interacting with this particular person when being in Mohanji's presence. In your case, it was just an astral connection.
Yes.
And wow, Seema, so beautiful. Thank you so much, Seema.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the
Thank you.
opportunity.
Please, anyone else would like to share anything? Rough edges, smooth edges, pain in the heart. Anybody who would like to speak?
I
Because
also
all
think,
of us,
yeah, I think
sorry,
what Seema is saying makes sense. We have all gone through this sharp edge and then getting it smoother by what Mohanji keeps telling us. I've also seen that many a times when we have a question in our minds, you will see a quote, you will see uh, some kind of a random post, and he will always answer us. That is, I think, for relationships, it really makes a lot of difference. Many a times I have seen that when we work in a team, like we all work for a team, and all of us with good intentions are also not able to gel properly. But then that sudden advice will come from somewhere, and either of the two will understand, okay, let's just do it like this, and it happens. So what Karina says, we understand completely. We are all experiencing it and learning a lot out of it. I think
also
most of
what
us who are
Seema.
working in teams understand how easy it gets when Mohanji says just serve them, go talk to them, do this, smaller things. And then when you take that first step, half of the battle is already won.
Yes, exactly. Like, especially as you said, like working in teams. That's exactly because when you volunteer, it's a big challenge because you are put in teams with people who you probably have some past karma with. So to run away means to ask for another life. And in our path, that's not an option. So you just have to stay there and kind of make it smooth. Mohanji's words to me that time was make it beautiful. So this is a big challenge when, but actually it's very easy when you use simplicity, simple methodology, which is just humility, service, like these two things always but because sometimes we're so, like, we don't want to really be, like, we something like probably ego or whatever is making us be like a little, I don't know, like keeping or keeping the strong face, that actually makes us vulnerable. It's like glass can easily break, but it's if it's rubber, which is very flexible and humble, it cannot break. It can just bend. So so yeah.
That first step towards, taking that first plunge when Mohanji pushes you for that, you realize that gradually, unknowingly, you start doing it in your day-to-day life away from our Mohanji family also. It has really helped, at least in my case, because I am a very outspoken person. So I know when something is not gelling with me, people can see it on my face. But with this, I have learned that even when they see I'm not agreeing to a point, they also understand that, okay, I am not agreeing to a certain point, but as such, I am agreeing to them as a person. That difference, that smoothing, we have all learned from Manji's way of smoothing the sharp end, as he says.
Yeah.
And Karina, what you said was so beautiful because you said, Mohanji just said those three words, make it beautiful. Yeah. So I think that should also be a big takeaway for us because make it beautiful. Anything, be it the connection with yourself, be it the connection with people, be it the work that you're doing for the foundation, anywhere, right? So that's another lovely lesson from this.
Yeah. Yeah, because we always wait for the other person to behave in some way or to do something to us or to have more respect towards us or to treat us more nicely and these kind of things. But actually, it's on us. When you take the responsibility and you say, I will make it beautiful, then it's you don't wait for respect, you don't wait for appreciation, you only like do what you have to do to make that thing beautiful.
Yeah,
Humility, simplicity, these kind of things.
absolutely. So who else would like to speak about this? I think we can all share what little we experiences because this is a huge takeaway from the three of you. I think a lot I have gathered. In fact, when Karina spoke again, when you want certain things to be done in a certain way, that expectation comes in. That definitely is going to lead to the next downward path of disappointments. So better to sharpen the smooth, the rough edges, make it smooth, shine like a diamond through the kindness. Yeah. Anybody else would like to share? It can be anything that you had a personal experience, anything that regard ignored. Yeah. Anyone? Nobody? Usha, would you like to say something? Unmute yourself, Usha.
This also has to have some amount of conflict management because as a person, I like to run away. I don't like conflicts. So once even in office or when I was working or with the Mohanji Foundation also, any conflict, because I don't like conflicts as such, sometimes you have to firmly stand, which I would say it's okay. And then I'll just go from that group. But in office, when we are working, that's not possible, right? So that time I'll least contact with that person I used to do. But once I joined Mohanji's foundation, that's not an option, right? So you have to work with different, various kind of people. See, all people are beautiful. All their hearts are beautiful. Sometimes the frequency which Mohanji says doesn't match for us. So that time, it was a very hard lesson because you can't just accept what they're saying. So, because sometimes my role is that I cannot accept. And sometimes you cannot run away also, no? So then I found the midway, like that's what Mohanji says. You stand your ground, but at the same time, be gentle and this thing. So that I learned this conflict management and how to stand the ground. And also you can work along with people which are not your frequency. That was a very hard lesson I learned. And that I've been working for a long time in the corporate world. You know how the corporate world is, so it's very difficult to work with. So, but I used to be well liked because I think I used to avoid the conflicts. So, but here there was no option. So then because I also see them operating like that, I have seen him being stabbed and without showing any emotion. When that person comes, he will show so much love. After he leaves, I used to ask him, how can you be like that? He did like this to you. He did like that to you. It's okay. I forgotten it long time back. Now he's come with a fresh slate. So I'm a new person. He's a new person to me. It doesn't bother me. I used to be very charged. How can he do like this? And how can one talk to him like that? So those were the things. But that conflict management and working with people, I learned being with Mohanji because I saw firsthand how he behaves. And my issues were very minor compared to the things which Mohanji faced. So from that, I think I'm a better conflict manager. Conflicts, I can manage a bit better and also get along with. I can be firm at the same time, stand my ground, be firm at the same time, be very smooth. The atmosphere has to be smooth, because otherwise you can't work together. So that I learned. That's a very big lesson I learned, which my entire career I couldn't learn, but I learned it after meeting Mohanji and working with people. So thank you.
Thank you, Usha. That was so beautiful because I know Usha. I know the kind of, escapism that she gets into when it comes to conflicts. So it is not easy.
In
So
my
I've also
family
said,
also they'll say that I run away from conflict. Oh, Usha, she's non-committal, she'll run away. That's my reputation in family also. So Rekha knows that. So
Oh, yeah, beautiful, Usha. Thanks for that. Because, from Usha, the first thing as you were talking, what came to my head was Mohanji doesn't have a mind. So it's at that moment what we project, he reflects. He reflects, he finishes it then and there, and he goes. I remember, once it was a big crowded place. There was a book release happening in Chennai, and Mohanji was here, and I went and I ran, from the front of the hall to the dais to hug him and all that. And then he whispered something in my ear. In my excitement, I couldn't hear anything of what he said. Quickly, after 5 minutes, I went back to him because there were a few of people waiting and asked him, Mohanji, what did you say? He looked at me like I was a mad person. He said, I don't remember. So earlier,
We were
he had
waiting
just
to
whispered,
greet him. I remember that instant of yours. We were waiting to
yeah,
greet him and you went to hug him.
yeah. So 5 minutes, later, he didn't remember because he doesn't have a mind. At that moment, what he tells us, and each word that he shares with us is so, so, so important because it is there meant for you for that at that point. Yeah. So it's so true. Thank you, Isha. Thank you for that sharing also. Because see, in relationship, how many things we come across. All this is about conflict management. Then another thing I was thinking, from yesterday's talk, Mohanji was speaking about communication
I would
and
add to
connection.
one that it is not
Yeah.
only about the mind that Mondi doesn't have a mind. His love encompassed, he's a personification of love. So for him, any negative emotion doesn't touch him. So at that
Yeah.
moment, if that person has stabbed him also, hundredth time that person comes, he'll show him the same love, the same hospitality. That mind is a different thing. This is love. For me, it is always black or white. So I can never love such a person, like who's been so bad to me. But that just was a very hard lesson I learned. So now I don't hate anybody or don't dislike anybody. Like I might have my moments, but I remember him, and then he can do that. What a me, a small mouse. So that's it.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. For many of you, I mean, who didn't attend yesterday, I just want to share these two notes which I noted from Mohanji's weekly talk. Okay, two things he spoke because you're speaking about relationship. And in
Mhm.
relationship, it's always about connection. Okay. So in that, he said a true connection happens when there is completion. A true connection is where there is completion. And a good connection is when you need nothing with the other. So there is absolutely no expectation, right?
Right.
These two sentences, in fact, I've noted it down on my phone and that's why I'm sharing it with you all because this one thing really hit me. A good connection is when you need nothing from the other. So zero expectation. So that's was something which came up because of connection. Connection always relationship. There is always some connection. There is a bridge formed between the two people, and how we meet at the center of the bridge is the question. Yeah. So thank you, Usha, for that sharing. Who else? Yes, Seema. Seema's later.
Sorry, looks like I'm the only one talking, but I had something to add to what
But we
Usha ji
love this
just.
talking. Continue, please.
I just want to add to the same experience Usha ji talked about in corporate world. I just shared this about a few months back. I was put on a project where I had to go to this client place and deliver something. And I was totally new. I didn't know anything about this project. And just because I happened to be the only one experienced, I was put into that place to be the face to the project. And I looked very stupid because I didn't know anything about the project to deliver anything. So, in spite of the timelines being tight, we could not deliver what they asked for. So I was put in a spot that it didn't happen the way because I wasn't skilled enough for that. So it was kind of a very ugly situation, and only thing that I was holding myself on is I cannot run away from this because it's something I've been put means it's something I have to learn from this. Otherwise, I would not have been in this spot. And with only that courage, I pulled myself through the situation. Now it's been about 4 months. I go back to the same project, trying to support them in whatever different way we can. I mean, I've been going through this situation again and again, again and again, again and again. And it's just that being in that position again and again, showing your consistency, no matter what the outcome is, holding your head strong, standing there, taking everything that is thrown at you. Good, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's very ugly. That itself kind of, and is just purely Monji's lessons on stability. How much do you allow that outside world affect you? Are you getting carried away? Are you getting pushed? How is your confidence? And that witnesshood that happens in this situation, right? Kind of really brought me up, and now the entire team knows me very well, for I don't know, right or wrong, but they know now in the organization, and they support me in every possible way. And even the CEO kind of now knows me, where I am and from where I'm coming. With so many escalations, everything happened, but I still showed up for what it was supposed to do. So I think that was a huge learning, that no matter what, just show up to do what you're supposed to do. And don't get carried away. Let not the situation affect you. Do your best in whatever situation. Do what more can you do. And proactively, because I was checking on them, what more can we do? Can we do this? Can we do this? Can we do this kind of a thing that I would propose? That kind of, you know, that interest, the other party started seeing that there is a genuine interest of trying to help or complete the project for them. So it was all Monji's lessons, and that we had absorbed was at play. And only thing I would come back home is, did I do the best today? That was the only measure I would do end of day, saying, did I do my best today? And what more can I do tomorrow? Can I try this, that kind of a thing? So such a beautiful thing, this thing came back to me, and I just wanted to share on that.
Wonderful.
Wow,
Thank you for
Seema.
sharing.
Yeah, so beautiful, isn't it? What
Yes,
she shared. Because the two questions Mohanji says, what more can I do in the morning? And have I done given my best today at night?
correct.
Two
Yes.
questions, and you are really living up to his teachings. Amazing, Seema.
Yeah, because there were
Awesome.
days when it was so bad, and I would like, oh my God, why did I have to do this? There were questions. Then I said, there's no why. It has happened now. I cannot go back to changing it. So what better can I do tomorrow? Is was what was I was going back to. So, and that kind of helped build rapport with all the management there, working with them closely. And so now they know that it's not about problems. It is about a way ahead in coming out of it. So that was very beautiful learning, and I really thank him for that, because every day I would just look at him, pray, and say, hopefully this problem will get solved today. And I would go with that to my workplace. So yes, he has definitely worked and done some magic here and there, so that the project is sailing through now.
Wow. So
For
nice,
the
so nice.
project, you smooth for the project, and the answers to it, you smoothened the sharp edges.
Yes, 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 yes. Actually,
The
his learning
relationship.
has smoothened those sharp edges between all
Yes.
the people I was interacting with. Yes.
Amazing. This
Yeah.
is so beautiful. Yeah, because this thing, this is integrity, right? Showing up, standing up for yourself, and at the same time being stable. And the two clear points that you had. Thank you, Seema. Thank you for that lovely sharing. Gauri, come. Can you have
Sorry,
your
my
video on?
my internet is not very good today, and I might
Okay.
just drop out. So what Seema said about showing up, I would just like to share my experience of what happened last week. So I'm in this my three intensive movement with His grace and blessings. Last 2 weeks, I was not doing physically well because of lack of sleep, some construction work going on, odd hours, too many deadlines to meet for a lot of things. And I had scheduled two Maitris on two separate days. So, for giving a Maitri, I was not physically in my element to give it. And I had completely made up my mind to go apologize to the practitioner and say, hey, just give me 1 or 2 days. I would not be able to do it. And I literally hate to reschedule any of my commitments, but I was in such a state, I just didn't want to do it. But there was something in me, but I mean, I know it was Mohanji pushing me not to reschedule and just showing up. And I took my phone to text her that I am sorry, I won't be able to do it. And I texted her saying, just give me 10 minutes, I'm starting the session. That was not me. Mohanji made me text because I took the phone with the clear intention that I'm going to say no. But then I said, okay, I have to show up. I sat on the place. I lit the tea light. Put the incense stick. My hands were dropping. My eyes were closing. I just did the session. I remembered what all I saw, but I was again, my mind was at play, and I was not sure. But I said, whatever it is, the guidance, whatever, I was not even able to understand if that was a guidance or if that was my mind playing. But I just wrote it to her, and I knew that the feedback is going to say that, hey, nothing of it resonates. And then I again started planning that, okay, maybe I should give her another session, because this doesn't look like a session to me. And with that, this thing, I with that bent of mind, I texted it to her. I mean, I waited for her response, and she came back saying, oh yes, it's unbelievable, you picked up this stage of my life. And yes, I have certain issues with some people, and I'm considering this. I have got so much of clarity, and nobody could pick this up in the last 1 week. What you picked up, I'm so grateful to you. I burst out crying, because it was Mohanji. It was tangibly, he worked through me, tangibly for me. And it was a he just took over. I was not literally in a good shape. The same thing happened the next day, where I was slightly better because of good sleep, but again, I was not sure. I was going to say that I would reschedule it, but I did not reschedule it. I consciously texted her saying, give me 30 minutes, I'm coming back. I took a shower second time, but my hands were dropping. I was not in that element, but I did the session. I wrote whatever the observations were. And again, I had that little bit of a fear that she might say that, oh, nothing resonates, something like that. But again, she came back and said, oh my God, you picked up that element of my life right now. And yes, this is what I'm going through in my life. And that was such a good catch. And again, second tangible experience for me said, you show up, you're not doing anything. It was just a reiteration of what we are doing as Maitri practitioners. And I cannot tell you how beautiful that was. There was one more experience I'd like to share. Sorry, I'm taking a lot of time,
No
but
worries. Please go ahead.
yeah, I shared it with Seema the and the meeting last week. That our car had broken down, and the usual dealers, they had given an estimate of something around $4,000 to repair it. And my husband was completely heartbroken, and he said, I think I'm selling the car, because there's no point spending $4,000 just for one repairing. And this is the estimate. I'm going to these dealers, I'm selling off the car, and this is the plan for the week. The car will be sold by next week. And I had just given a Maitri session. I just stood up from the place I was sitting at, and I said, no, you call up this dealer, he'll give it to you for 75% less. And he's like, what are you talking? I said, no, see, 7 8 years ago, you'd gone to this dealer, and but he's out of the city, very far. You call him. Then he said, do you have his number? I said, no, I don't have his number. I've not even seen him. It must be in your other phones. Go check it. He's like, no, let me see. And I said, no, no, he'll give it to you at 75% cheaper rate. No need to sell the car. And then he said, no, but they need the car for 4 days, which is not possible. I need the car back in one day. I said, oh, he'll give it to you by day after. Give it tomorrow, he'll give it to you. And my husband is like, how are you so confident? I say, I don't know, you just do it. And I forgot about it. He forgot about it. The car was repaired in one day at literally $1,000. And then later on, I was like, my husband and me, we were completely shocked. It was Mohanji's guidance, because I was still in that energy flow. And I later on, I forgot what I told him. He completely forgot that, how he completely forgot to ask me as to how I came up with that particular that the service station guy. And then I said, no, that was Mohanji working through me. I had just come out of the session. It was not me, and I don't even remember that guy. I don't know how I said that. But yes, that was Mohanji. That was Mohanji. And these are the experiences I'm getting one by one, tangible ones. Um I am so indebted to him. I am so grateful for him to be in my life so tangibly. And I'm getting guidance, I'm getting his love. I mean, he's completely so unconditional, and he's got such a huge heart. And we read about the testimonials, we read about him, the experiences of people. But when you start getting these experiences I mean, it's been 5 years that I am under his loving umbrella. But as the connection grows, the experiences grows, and you feel that you are so sheltered and you're so taken care of. And he is taking care of me, my family, and everybody around so unconditionally, so beautifully. I don't know if I'd ever be able to repay his love and everything that he's doing for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gauri. That is beautiful, because you were here because you are the chosen few to walk the path of Raja Yoga. So, that gratitude and that is enough. And we're not here just like that, right? We are here because we were meant to be here, isn't it? So thank you, Gauri. Thank you for all the three sharings. I am sure after that Maitri, you must have definitely improved. Your health must have improved after the first two Maitris, those two Maitris.
Completely
Yeah.
changed. Completely changed it after the two my threes that I gave, and also I was receiving it. But it was a complete 360-degree change, as if nothing happened to me.
Wow.
And yeah, it was beautiful. Those 2 days were exceptionally beautiful. Thank
Wow.
you.
Thank you, Gauri. Yeah. So anybody else would like to share anything? And maybe Anisha, would you like to say something?
Yeah, I'd just like to share something which helped me. May not be necessarily related to relationships, but
No worries.
uh, I think with relationships or with anything, there comes some kind of expectations. And I used to have this pattern of expectations a lot. And I, through Mohanji's empowered or weekly talks, it was like a command to me every time that every person has come to this world to behave or perform as per their karma. And slowly that changed me, and I would just say few things that helped me a lot through this to manage this pattern of mine. It was a mix. One was selfless service. So now when I go and try to offer any kind of help or support to other people, it helps me focus on other person and ensures that from within also I feel a little lighter and better. And second was the satsangs with Mohanji that helped me a lot, and the satsangs with our Mohanji family members. So every week going and attending that session or even online sessions that helped me a lot. And empowered, definitely. There was a recent session conducted by Subhashra ji that also helped a lot to understand our path of Raja Yoga and help all of this. And this indirectly changed my pattern of expectation, and in a way it brought changes to my relationship as well. Yeah.
Wow. That is so cute. Really, see that the teachings is bringing about all the change that you require.
Yes.
Awesome, awesome. Sometimes I know, Anisha, you do sometimes feel a little overwhelmed with the amount of work you're doing, and still she shows up. Still, she's there doing what she has to do and working all the time. And she's now able to probably, space it out and do with all the talks and attending the satsangs and they're covered and everything. So this is also, the transformation, how that happens with each thing that we are faced with in in the Monji family, and each interaction that we have brings in transformation. And all our, Mohanji's teaching, how we are bringing it into our life and how that is helping us transform. Thank you, Anisha. So beautiful. Very
Thank
nice.
you.
So actually, before we can, if there's anyone else who would like to share, I would. Otherwise, we can wind up for today. What I would like to tell you all is let's have this as an open platform where we can all just discuss. All the people who've been today without your cameras on would definitely would want you all back with the cameras and sharing anything. If you see how today it was such a casual talk, then this is exactly what we want. We come together as family. We realize what all we have learned. Sometimes, we don't even know that. So when we are talking to each other, we realize what has happened. Like what Seema said or what Karina said, Pooja, Usha, everybody, if I've left out Gauri. So we learned so many things, Manisha also. So this way we can share with each other and recognize from point A to point B to point C how we are moving ahead. That is the key. So let's all get together every week and hopefully we will have the sessions at this same time, 6:30 p.m. IST, and we can all meet and we can start talking. We'll also, in case, we can start reading testimonials because some short, impactful testimonials we can start reading and take off from there. So if any of you would like to even read, join us. You can just ping Pooja or Bharati. They will connect with you. You can connect with them and we can slot the session. So once a week we'll all meet and do bring in all your other friends, both from the Monji family and outside, because it's all about the inner guru. It's all about the transformation of being on the Raja Yoga path, isn't it? So really heartfelt thanks, because we just wanted to start this, and Mohanji was also saying what is happening to the Mohanji and I page. So now we are here on Mohanji and I YouTube page, and the testimonial team would definitely like to thank each one of you for taking out time to be with us, because our testimonials, is what is going to take it to the future generations also. So thank you all so much. Imagine we are not here and sometimes somebody else comes across this YouTube video and of Mohanji and they listen to it. Imagine how beautiful it is. Like we listen about Satya Sai or Shirdi Sai. It's the same thing, isn't it? So continue this talk. Let's keep this going. Let's get more people involved. So I would request all of you to help us to grow this family, these sessions into a bigger one, wider one, so everybody benefits from it. So thank you everyone for joining. So next time I'm going to call people who are not talking. Come prepared.
Thank you, Rika.
Thank you, Rika.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Pooja.
Everyone for joining.
Thank